We are back on the streets of Nashville talking to people from all over the country. We're seeing what they know about agriculture and showing how farm life connects everyone. Then we talk to ex-dairy farmer turned country singer Jeff Corle.
Empty heart. I should have known right from the start.
It's something that every farmer fears, losing their farm, and something that every dairy farmer fears, losing their herd. But find out how losing a herd actually led to a career in country music. All right, here with Jeff Corle. Now, Jeff, I even hate to ask this question because, you know, I don't want to like offend or anything, but like when I'm introducing you, do I say farmer? Do I say singer?
That's really a good question. I used to say that I was a farmer, singer, songwriter. Maybe now I'm a singer, songwriter, farmer. I don't know.
Okay, let's go through this scenario of where you're at now. You were a dairy farmer.
Yes.
Were you multi-generational?
Yes, I'm actually the 5th generation on our farm and the 4th generation to milk cows. So I did it with my dad, my grandfather.
Out in Pennsylvania?
In western PA,
Okay.
up in the Laurel Mountains.
Now you've gained some success, some fame, because when you had to liquidate the herd, you put that story, you put that emotion into music.
Right.
Tell me about that.
Well, I've always played guitar and wrote songs since I was young, and often used it, you know, as kind of a therapeutic exercise. So when the cows left and I was left with an empty barn, that just struck me like, I mean, it hit me like a ton of bricks. And so I took out the guitar, and the first thing I did was start writing this song. And a friend of mine actually suggested the title and said, you know, I don't know anything about the dairy business, but I can't imagine how lonely and empty that barn must feel. So, ended up writing the song Empty Barn.
All my growing up was a special place where we started and ended every single day. Always had a full house, ladies that we loved. I tried hard to keep it going, wish I didn't have to be the one. Empty barn, empty heart. I should have known right from the start.
For people that are watching that don't know the dairy industry, I mean, this was a place where you spent the majority of your time. Tell us what it meant for that place that was a constant in your life to all of a sudden be different.
Yeah, well, I think that is pretty much at the heart of the whole thing. If you grow up with cows, especially dairy cows, especially a smaller dairy herd, to where you really know those cows as individuals, and you really come to think of those cows kind of as friends. I have a line in the song that says, you love those cows just like your friends. And I think for most small dairy farmers, that is absolutely the case. And when push comes to shove, and you're losing money, you're borrowing money just to try to keep the whole thing running, you know, that day invariably comes that, hey, there's just no sense in doing this. But then it's the whole thing of having to say goodbye to those cows and let them go, and that's really hard.
It's the last night the cows are in the barn. They'll be leaving tomorrow morning.
Dairy has been brutal over the last decade. Yeah. I mean, it's seen a mass exodus of farmers, both big and small. I mean, there's been people, the numbers just didn't add up. Yeah. Putting your feelings out into a song like that, have you gotten much reaction, much feedback from other dairy people?
Well, yeah, that's one of the bright spots to the story. So when I wrote the song, I decided I wanted to make some kind of music video for it. So I put out on social media a request for farmers to send me pictures of their cows and particularly life in the dairy barn. And I thought it was just going to be my local friends and people that I know sending me pictures. And the post got shared, and it turned out that I got hundreds of pictures from all over the country. And it's those pictures that make up the video for Empty Barn. And it's really amazing how many people responded to that. And then once the video got out, how many hundreds of people from all over the country and even all over the world have written in to say how much they appreciate that sentiment and those feelings were put into words. So yeah, it's really touched a lot of people.
All right, you and I have both grown up on the farm. We know the culture, right? Farming culture. We don't talk about feelings. Feelings they're stupid.
Yeah,
you aren't afraid to show them with this. Has that been hard?
It's been a little bit hard. I mean, I guess that's the songwriter side of me that, you know, you can get into that. But to put that much raw emotion out there, when I wrote Empty Barn, I was a wreck. I mean, just writing the song, I was, you know, very emotional and telling this story. I, you know, feel myself getting a little emotional. And, but I felt like it was something that needed to be said. And the other interesting thing about it is I wrote Empty Barn in probably less than an hour once I started.
Did you really? That's not usual, right? For
it's
like
not
a song?
Usual. And
Is
I've
that what
always,
Garth Brooks does? Like an hour? Friends in Low Places? Got it done.
yeah, just crank one out.
So has it been hard as a farmer trying to break into the music world? I mean, because I imagine there needs to be a lot of finances involved.
Yeah, well, initially, so I was able to come down here to Nashville in May to record a whole album. So Empty Barn is one of 9 songs on my album Farm Animal. And I funded that myself with the hopes then of getting a record company interested in helping me release it. And the record companies have been very nice and they think it's very wonderful, but their basic attitude is there's just not enough farmers left out there to make this worth our while. So I'm doing what farmers have always done, and that is rolling up my sleeves and trying to market and promote the album myself.
Is there a website that people can go to see or to try to help you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've just launched a Kickstarter type campaign to help fund the marketing, and that is at www.jeffcorle.com/farm animal launch.
Okay. And what's your catchphrase?
This is an album made by a farmer for farmers. And with this album, I want to show the suits and the city slickers that farmers' lives matter.
There you go. You know what my catchphrase is? It's called "Thank you, Deidre." And I don't say it like that though, because as she's, you know, she's sitting over there doing the whole wrap it up. In my mind, I'm like, "Thank you, Deidre." Got it. That's what we do.
I got you.
Jeff, I want to thank you for coming in, and I want to thank you for being open and honest, because I know you are far from the only person that is struggling, going not just out of dairy, but out of certain aspects of agriculture. It's not easy. We as farmers, we don't like to talk about it. So when somebody does, and somebody puts it down there in a form of a song or something like that that can be shared, I think it's pretty vital to agriculture as a whole.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for everything you're doing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
Jeff
it.
Corle, everybody. Thanks. Thanks for spending some time with us here on Shark Farmer TV. For more stories about people in agriculture, catch my shows on Rural Radio Channel 147 Sirius XM. There's more in-depth discussions on my podcast, and of course, you can check out previous episodes of this show on my YouTube channel. Find out more at sharkfarmer.com. Next week on Shark Farmer TV. I mean, well, that's just mean and wasteful. I mean, and funny.